Hey guys, and welcome back to another interview. I'm starting the road to Ascension, and who better to start with than Zeek? I know it's been a bit of a crazy week for you, but how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, My player just came from Champions. He's gonna get a title soon for Fnatic, so I'm doing fantastic. And our scrims are going well. And also you mentioned that I'm the first one, yes,
You are the first.
for this series. Okay. That's feels great that I'm the chosen first one, okay.
Well, I was actually going to ask about that because obviously for a lot of teams, there are going to be the question of whether we can compete with the best. Does it feel pretty good seeing one of your players go into one of the biggest matches of the whole year and seem like he fit right into a team that he hasn't played with all year?
I mean, yeah, definitely, because it just gives you confidence that your player is, very comfortable on LAN. I mean, he played a very good game, especially for the circumstances that he was in. So I think, watching him, it made me like feel a relief that at least, we have one player that will be like 100% confident on LAN. He played like exactly the same as he does like in scrims and in officials. So it's a good thing. And that was something that after our like first bootcamp we were kind of scared, how we're gonna play in like new environments because it's been a long time since anyone of us played LAN. I think the recent LAN player was Starkey, which is like telling because he's never like even been tier one.
Yeah.
So it feels great that Doma still has it. He's still a LAN demon, so it's good. It's good.
I kind of now want to go back in time because I feel like you're one of the players who has been there pretty much since the very beginning of Valorant starting, and I kind of want to ask like how did you get into your pro career in Valorant? Because I know you did like Fortnite for a bit, but I feel like Valorant was your proper like breakout game.
Oh goddamn! I've been answering this question so long, and it's been so long since someone actually asked me this question because I've been answering it so often. Like
Mm.
I was always a CS player, tag FPS player. Like I loved Call of Duty, then I loved CS. Since even
Mm.
like Counter Strike came out, I always wanted to be a CS pro player. But I had financial problems, and Fortnite like kind of solved it for me because I had terrible PC, 60 FPS, 60 hertz. Like I played on like these office mouse pads.
Mm.
So I came to Fortnite because there was like quick bucks. There was open tournaments that you could like place like 100th and you could get like 1k euro. So I came there to get my own PC, and I just started playing. I started earning money, and it was still not enough for a PC. Like I got like very small amounts, and I asked my parents to give me like one favor. I asked them in my life, like very big favor. I was begging them on my
Mm.
knees. Is that they buy me a new PC? They bought me a new PC, and I just started playing Fortnite. I like gathered enough money to buy myself like a PC, and I know eventually I will quit the game because I didn't really much enjoy it. I kind of like I swear to God, like I'm gonna be serious. I just played it for money, not really much passion.
Yeah.
And as soon like I wanted to either switch back to CS, but then like Valorant got announced, Project A back then, and like
Mm.
like I knew it's a game for me because I've been playing like a lot of games. I was never like a one trick pony in a game, but I played a lot of games, and like Valorant it was combining a couple of games, so it was just game for me. That's how I like instantly knew I need to be a pro player in this game. I want to like win champions, and you know back then I don't know how you could call it major, and you
Yeah.
know that's
What
how I started.
you mentioned CS. Like this wasn't something I was even gonna ask about, but like within Poland at least, CS, at least from my knowledge, was the game. Like I was a huge
Yeah,
fan
it
of like
is.
the old school Virtus Pro. That pretty much like I feel like if you were coming up in the esports scene, you watched them and you saw what they did. Is that part of the story as well? Like, did you watch those like CS events with VP in them?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's not a single Polish player, that didn't get inspired by them. I think it's like
Mm.
the biggest legend in esports community in Poland. And I think like maybe the 15-year-olds now don't remember it, but I think I'm old enough. I was watching them. I was like they were my source of inspiration. Of course, I was like I really wanted to play on the stages like them, be in a team like that. Sadly, the meta in esports shifted more towards international teams, not national teams, because I
Yeah.
always wanted to make like a Polish Golden Five, in even in
Yeah.
Valorant. But Valorant started instantly with this meta, so there was not really a chance. But yeah, they were my big source of inspiration for sure.
That's awesome. I'll say I got to meet Taz a couple of times. He's the nicest human being on the planet. So I'm all for anybody who's like a VP fan because those guys are awesome.
I only
Now,
met Pasha, I think, in person.
it's well,
Only Pasha.
I think those two. And to be honest, the whole team was great. I don't really have a
Yeah, I mean,
bad
the
thing to
whole
say
team is
about
still
any of
is
them.
like, I mean, the whole team is still like very successful in media, and they're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
very likable people, like some players are coaching still in CS major teams, and Pasha is like a crazy, like, good
yeah.
guy,
It's
like
like
such a good such a
swimming and all of this.
nice reputation, across
Yeah.
Poland. Like even people that don't know like esports, they know Pasha.
That's definitely the goal. Now, we talk about what most people would know you for, which is that Champions run back in 2021. I kind of want to just ask the question, like, what has life been since that moment? Because everybody will remember the sort of the highs of what you were able to achieve, but it does feel like it's been more of a journey to get back to that point once again.
Yeah, I mean, life has been rough, by my own decision, by some unfortunate circumstances, some unlucky moments. Life has been in career standpoint, it's been rough. Like in terms of IRL, I think I'm doing pretty fine. I'm still living like happy life. I have
Good
good
to
love
hear.
life and things like that. My own apartment. I'm not poor, and it's like the winning was game changing.
Mm.
Obviously, I think you cannot beat something like this. Like an insane source of money from prize pools, insane source of fame, of just winning like such a prestigious tournament.
Yeah.
First of all, you cannot really get higher than that in esports. So like I can never beat this feeling, but I'm doing pretty fine. It's been like a rocky road, but I think every single year is getting better. For me, it's like I feel more hope, a little bit, maybe not hope, but like just good feeling. Maybe that it's possible at
Mm.
some point to
Well,
come back to this.
I was kind of going to ask the next question links to it. Like, was it difficult after that moment to stay motivated? Because, like you said, like I feel like of all the players who've managed to achieve it, you peaked very, very quickly in terms of like you were the MVP of the first ever champion. So it's like
Yeah.
after that moment, was it just like, okay, what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been rough to get like I'm still not motivated as much as I was before. Obviously, like I'm getting older a little bit. I'm not saying I'm old, I'm uncle or something. I don't believe like that's like 24 is an old age. But I'm saying that yeah, that is something that I was scared of. That if I win my like first champions of the game, I will someday will be just like forgotten about because one bad thing, the game is still evolving. People don't really like take this as a like very competitive year back then, and also our situation, we are called fluke masters and stuff like that. But I mean, it's I'm still not motivated enough, I'd say. So I don't play the game as much, but in terms of like team, I think I still like really try hard to win and try to improve all the teams I'm playing in. I think I'm doing a pretty good job because like 2 years in a row I got Ascension in like
Yeah.
very different like tier 2 rosters. I think I have like not I don't want to I want to be a little bit humble. I'm not gonna say big input, but I have some input. I'm not like an NPC in those teams. I
Yeah.
definitely like give some value to them. So maybe one more year, 3 times in a row, and then I don't really like. I don't feel as much motivation to go back into tier one as I had last year, for example. But I still like really want to because this is the team that so far there's no shit happening to us like last year in GoNext. We had shit happening to us, like my players getting poached left and right, had to record their votes for the org. So this year I think way more positive about the tournament that we're gonna play, especially that it's gonna be a LAN. And I'm just happy for now. I'm just happy that I'm just gonna play on LAN, back because I love playing on LANs. I always like felt like fish in the tank in LANs,
Mm.
and I just loved I love the fact that I can still play on the stage, smile to the camera, do some content and just play not on my PC setup.
That's fair. Just because I am going to get onto the team from last year, and I know that you said it was a little bit messy, but just before that, it's something you kind of touched on in there is that Ascend team. I I feel like comparatively to Gambit, gets a very different rep even though you beat them in the grand final, you won champions. I think people look back very fondly on Gambit and look back very differently on your team. Does that ever get to you, or is that something you actually think about? Because to win the champions versus them, beat them in that way, and then still, like, people still talk about Gambit every week, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good point you gave. Like it is actually on my head until this day. I don't understand why our reputation is so bad compared to Gambits. You know, especially that in head-to-head we never lost to them in
Mm.
the whole year that we played against them. We are never a worse team than them. I think it's only you know, the funny fact is it's a butterfly effect because I think that if we didn't lose, if we didn't choke against 100 Thieves in that Berlin tournament, we would have the same reputation as Gambit, probably like being called this like generational team, you know?
Yeah.
That we would still be remembered like this. But because we choked against 100 Thieves and Gambit actually won that tournament, and I'm like 100% confident if we didn't choke that and we would straight like breeze past Envy. I don't know who was like the semi-final, and then past Envy, and then
Mm.
like beat Gambit in the semi-finals. Like 100%, I think we would like could get back to back. You know, if not for that single choke. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're not as likable. Maybe it's just because CNET was like our big star, and the rest of the players were like just always clowned on. You know
Mm.
that it was just CNET and friends. You know, maybe because of that, and Gambit actually looked like a full, you know, all 5 gears working. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe because of that, but it actually gets to me sometimes. Yeah, like even now reading about it, like I swear to God, maybe it's just people that didn't watch it. They just got this from like other people that like were just spreading like some misinformation that the Gambit were the goats. I don't. I think we are always a better team than Gambit, to be fair.
I will say your team was like when it was in peak form, it was fucking scary. Like
Yeah, yeah,
because I feel like you could come up against pretty much any opponent and make them look awful, which I don't think we ever saw like very often with just like the sheer. I think the peak of every single player in your team was genuinely terrifying. And the funny thing is, you say
yeah.
CNET of friends, but I'm the one sat here talking to the MVP, so I guess it's.
You know, I say the real MVP of the tournament was for sure Bolcott for me. Like
Okay.
until this day, I always say like he was always the hidden MVP in the tournament. This guy, like the amount he stepped like up in this tournament is crazy. If he didn't
Mm,
step up so much, he was great at calling. He was hitting some insane fucking one taps. Like he was hitting some shots that were like I've never seen him hitting those. You know. And if this guy didn't step up so much, he gave like his 200%, we wouldn't win. Like for
mm,
sure, it's Bonkold is for sure like my hidden MVP of the tournament. Like
fair
definitely.
play. Well, I now do want to move on to slightly more recent times because I want to
Yep.
look back at last year's team because obviously it didn't end particularly well with the run at Ascension, but I do want to look at the players that ended up moving into the tier one. Obviously, Alexic ended up there in stage two, Profek and Mini were there pretty much since the beginning. Were you proud of how well they were able to do sort of throughout this year? I think especially Profek, who had a pretty insane first year in the league.
Yeah, I mean definitely. I always like as soon as I started playing with them, and with Profek it was with Mini it was from the beginning. With Profek he was like casually getting better. He was learning so fast. Like me and Diaba, like we're talking with him a lot, you know, and he just started. He became so good at macro wise. Like I'm the most proud of Profek, definitely not only because he's Polish, but just because he actually was not that great at our first split, and then gradually like he hit like insane spike of like difference in his macro understanding and his level of gameplay. It was like I'm very proud of him. And with Mini also I was very surprised that Alexi got into Navi. I think he had like super big potential, but
Yeah.
I don't think he was ready yet for tier 1 in terms of his like mentality a little bit. But he was like a machine. When this guy was on, he was the best player in our team, even like
Yeah.
better than Profek and Mini. Like he was the flashiest player and like definitely the one that could have like the craziest highlights, you know, even like above Mini and Profek. But I think Navi was just looking for a player like him, someone like that, you know, to just gamble a little bit for the stage, and it worked for them. They almost qualified to champions, to be fair. So I'm proud of all the boys, and I'm a little bit sad for Bull that he ended where he ended, and I think he deserved a little bit more after a year like that, especially that he was our IGL. He
Yeah.
was doing pretty good, And yeah, I think that answers your question. I'm very proud of my
Yeah,
boys from GoNext, and I like all of them. I don't have any bad feelings and stuff that I didn't get into it. I kind of expected, and I always cheer for them. And I knew that Profik and Mini 100% going to even before they were getting offers. Like I knew that these guys are gonna get. If we get to Ascension, 100% these guys are in VCT.
What this is a question that, because I'm gonna ask you a question that I already agree with already, but I think many people look at GoNext from last year and wonder if you had made it to VCT, would you have done better than the two teams that ended up getting relegated? Because I personally believe that you would have done. I'll be honest. You look at the players that have gone to tier 1, they've done very well, and I just question if that tournament had done better, do you think you would have at least got a few wins throughout the season?
I mean, for sure, definitely better than the Apex. Maybe Gentlemates were a little bit unlucky, but like Apex, I mean, of course, I think we would win at least one game. Apex lost like 14 games straight in a row. No, like it's
It wasn't great.
criminal. The problem. We also they were the only one team that won against them in Ascension, even though we're like on our like 50% in that tournament. But yeah, I think answering your question, yeah, I definitely think we would play better. I think we had a pretty good mix of young players and me and Yaba, like experienced
Mm.
people that could also build very mature for the amount of experience he kind of had. So I think we had a very good mix in that team, and ultimately I think we're just very unfortunate with what happened, before Ascension, especially Mini's injury, that we couldn't practice with him for like 3 weeks
Oh
out of
damn.
1.5 months. Like it was basically half of the time we didn't practice with Mini, we practiced with Chihuahua instead, and then he got declined to play.
Yeah.
For us, it was like just I think very unfortunate circumstances. I think led us to be not in our greatest form, and I think if we were like in the same form as we were in the stage 2, stage 1 of East, we would definitely like qualify there. And yeah, I'm still sad to this day that it went how it went.
Mm. But that was kind of you've kind of answered two of my next questions. One of them was just about what went wrong, but I think you've clearly answered that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was it difficult to pick yourself back up after that tournament? Because I think you should have at least got to like maybe the final four with the squad that you had in the year that you had. So coming back into the next year, was it kind of like, oh god, I've got to go through all of that again? Because it's a very long process.
Yeah, not only that, but also like I didn't really have any offers.
Mm.
The fact that I am here in Ascension this year, like I'm so surprised. If you asked me this question exactly 1 year ago in September after the Ascension, I would be like, bro, you're joking. Like there's no way, because I didn't have any like offers that where I was interested in. Not like any mix of players that I think had like much potential, the chemistry to get to Ascension, especially with the new format. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. I think it was very unfortunate, but I ended where I ended. I have another chance, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be here again.
Well, that was moving on to this year. You've played with some very big organizations throughout your career. I kind of wanted to ask what it's been like working with Enterprise, because I imagine comparison to a G2, a Heretics, etc., it's going to be a little bit different. But how have they been in sort of supporting you throughout this year?
Well, I think it's very loose, just like last year with GoNext, you know. Uh, Obviously, like it's hard to answer this question for you because I don't want to say anything that will like affect the organization or anything. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's a good work. I'm like I have money that I'm satisfied with. I have managers that I'm satisfied with. That maybe at the beginning we had a little bit of miscommunications with the
Mm.
management, but I think when they saw our potential, they were very happy. Now they're like very helpful. We have they we got a very nice bootcamp in Prague that we went to. Obviously, it was a disaster for us. That I said in a couple of interviews already. But I think we're planning to go for another one maybe soon, maybe like in the
Mm.
next week. And I think Enterprise is still like a professional org. I like being here. I don't like decline the fact that maybe I can stay here for another year if Enterprise wants me to. So overall, like I have everything. I'm satisfied. Oh, obviously, like I cannot lie and say that it's the same level as like fucking G2
Yeah.
Heretics with like million people working behind the scenes. It's obviously a small organization with not much staff, but as I love these organizations that don't pressure you into doing things that you don't really want to, that you are like that breaks your routines or something. And here we have like very loose playstyle. We are not pressured by anyone. We don't have any like people standing breathing on our necks, telling
Hmm.
us that if we don't meet this quota, like we will get some consequences. So it's pretty nice.
How did the process start this year with like building the new roster? Because as you sort of said, it was a very like you wait to see if you're going into the tier one in different manner. When did it sort of like kick off, and were you like one of the first people to join, or did you join the group of players towards the end?
Yeah, I actually wrote a Twitter post about it,
Hmm.
and the TLDR, like what happened this year was that Enterprise, like really, really late, wanted to build a roster, and like very late. It was December already, like for your
Oh damn.
information,
Okay.
like people in already in September, in October, like some orgs have like full rosters already,
Yeah.
So they got a team, like I think best three outcasts that they could get, still not signed. Me, Yash, and Killers. We had like a sort of our agency pro players was like doing everything for us to make the score work. The players like really liked each other. Like me, Kiles, Yash was excited to play with me. I was excited to play with him. Same with Kiles, etc., etc. And then we had like 2 weeks before the first split started to find two players and a coach for this team. And somehow like we ended up with Starkey and Doma because there was like not really much to choose from, like everyone was already signed, all the like promising. So we went for like some the not so obvious picks, Doma like had a very rough last year in Turkey, so like even I forgot about him, even though he was playing like on the same tournaments as me in 2021.
Hmm.
So and somehow like we tried like very quick trials for a week, and we came up with the conclusion that Starkey and Doma is like the right fit with the all the people that we have. And that's how this team, like it was very pleasant surprise, like I honestly didn't believe in this team so much at the beginning. I thought like the amount of time that we had to make this team, not really everything was very thought, about like the chemistry between the players, the characters, like something that I think is very important in building like very good rosters. But it worked, So I think this is the first roster that is actually like full Hail Mary, I don't know what we are doing, just make like 5 players, find 5 players, and we're gonna cook something with this. I think it's the first time this happened to
Hmm.
me, but like pleasant surprise, we are suddenly very good.
You're doing very well to set up my next question, because my next one was when did you start to realize that this was going to be like a very good team? Because I think throughout the whole year you've kind of been one of the teams like challenging for the win almost, especially when it got to stage two. So what was that sort of moment where it just started to click?
I think it started to click after I have still to this day no idea how we got Legia in our team. The guy that
Hmm.
just coached Yay, he was in Bleed, the
Yeah.
multi-millionaire organization in Tier 1
And
franchise.
well known in CS as
And
well. Like I knew him
yeah, and,
before Valorant as
one
well.
of the OGs in CS that is
Yeah.
like well known. And I was like, that's crazy. And he came and instantly, it's like he stepped into the room, when he first joined us on a TeamSpeak, and it was like so much aura oozing out of him, like in his voice, the way that he just asked people questions and stuff like that. 2 weeks, I think it took me like in the first stage, and I know that because of Legia, I think he can actually make this team improve pretty quickly and make our chemistry great.
Hmm.
If he comes up with his own ideas, and that's exactly what happened. And I think even though that we had a pretty rough first stage, but like I think it was that moment that I think it clicked, and saw potential actually in this team. Even though that we placed third in our league, that is not necessarily like known for being the best league in terms of competitiveness. we placed third, but I know that it's just because we only practiced like 2 weeks with each other, you know. And I think this team was like different case of other teams that I played with. It meant like we needed more time, you know, to click with each other. We actually needed to work on stuff. We actually needed to have like strategies and not instantly good synergy together.
Hmm. Well, you kind of touched on it earlier as well. The landscape of EMEA challenges changed quite a lot this year. Do you like the change? You get to play against the other regions quite a bit more. I guess it's probably much better practice overall than maybe just
Yeah.
blasting through some of the regional teams.
No, this is beautiful change. This is something that I actually like wanted to propose to you know Riot.
Hmm.
It's it always should have been like this, the challenger system, that you have that you don't only play in the regional leagues. You should have like competition across all the leagues. And what they did is still like not perfected system, because the amount of games like still has a lot of to like desire, you know.
Yeah.
Like you still only play one game in a group that decides if you go out of the group or not. The system is still not the greatest. The formats are not the greatest, but the whole handling of this, I think I really liked it.
Hmm.
What I don't like is how they announce that it's only 6 teams, and then suddenly they change it to 8, and then to
It's
10.
good that it became
But
8, but I do agree that the change definitely made things very interesting.
yeah, it made it interesting. But yeah, it's a very good. It has good fundamentals, you know, for the
Hmm.
next year. I think they set up good fundamentals. Now they just need to, you know, scrape it a little bit and make it better, you know. Because I love the fact that I can play against other regions. I don't really like East players. They are a bunch of crazy, you know, Ukrainians just running you down with just some insane strategies. I don't know, like it's
Wait, you're
rough to
not a
play
fan
in
of
this
the
league.
Boers? Is that who that's going
Yeah,
on? My
no,
wife's
I
Ukrainian,
said
so be careful what you say.
I love them. I love them. I love the team. I love the players. I don't have anything against the players, but what I'm saying, I just set them as an example that
No,
this
I
league
know,
has
I know.
some crazy talent that just, you know, they just run you down. You know, you need to be, I think, always at least a little bit focused as a team to
Yeah,
not get run down by just pure firepower. Because in terms of firepower, this league has like the most amount of some crazy players that
yeah.
might end up in like being the goats, you know, in the future. I swear to God.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of another team that I think at times ran quite a lot of people down, I think you and BBL Pacific quickly became sort of like the front runners of the year when it came to making it to Ascension. I think you were qualified before we even got to stage 3, which definitely made things very interesting for you guys. What do you
Yeah.
think of them as a squad? Because they made it all the way to the final last year with obviously a slight change in roster, but it just seems like those kids are insane.
No, I mean when you play against them, like I swear I need to be on my 100% to even compete against them. You know, last time we played them, like everyone was just like low on energy, and when you're low on energy against them, like you have no chance. Like you don't even you don't even react to them. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes the way they shoot is like insane. I swear to God, I play these practice teams. I play Fnatic. I play like all these champions teams. You know, like even Paper X, bro. I play them, and none of these guys sometimes shoots as fucking fast as BBL Pacific on my official game. Like I swear to God, they are like on some crazy shit. And you know, I only think that their biggest downside is their mental a little bit. I think that they oh, maybe I'm gonna spice it up. I'm just gonna say that some of them have like fragile egos a little bit. You know, I don't know. Uh, they see like 2 words written by Starkey or by Doma. You know, the biggest rage baiters in our team, and they instantly like just hate us for no reason. You know, shoot our bodies. All the game against them is like bloodbath, massacre, slaughter. You know, it's always like fun to play them.
Hmm.
But I think you know they got humbled one time. Maybe they learned the lesson, but they are still, you know, young. I give them a pass. When I was 18, I was also like had such a big, insane ego when I was good in games. I would probably have like also same ego if I was as good as them. So I give them a pass, but you know, I someone needs to humble them a little bit. Like they they're running around too much, you know, speaking shit to daddies, you know, to unks.
So one of the major talking points, obviously, with Challengers 3 was your group. I'm sure you've already probably commented on it in other places, but what was your reaction to the group of death? Because I think Twitter went fucking mental when that happened.
Well, our reaction was actually pretty positive because we knew that, we wanted to secure the first seed, obviously, right? In terms
Yeah,
of points. So we wanted to be above BBL Pacific. So the best way to be above them was to beat them in groups, because
yeah,
then they get only one and we can go all the way and, either win or like get second place and be above them in points. So for us, it was actually positive. It just meant that we only have to win one game against them and not meet them in, we could also meet them in grand final again, and then it would make no sense. So it wasn't that bad. But no, I think we played three challengers. 2 times we had BBL Pacific in our group, and these 2 times we didn't get out of groups, and one time we didn't get in them in the group. We won the whole thing.
yeah.
So I think this year we're kind of unlucky. If not that we played in kind of the weakest league, you could say, we probably wouldn't have as many points, But it is what it is. We won, we are here, and I don't give a shit at this point. I just want to beat BBL Pacific, But probably I want to beat them. I want to play them, maybe after like we qualify, meet them and us qualify. So we just play them for nothing, for funsies on stage.
Okay. Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, I feel like the answer is no, but did it knock your confidence at all going out in groups of challengers, or was it just kind of like, okay, we had the shit group, but we can still beat anybody else?
No, because I think it's about how we lose. Like it's the second time. First time when we lost against BBL Pacific in first challengers, it was like big choke, and it was very painful, and it kind of killed our confidence because we choked like big leads. But sometimes you just have to accept that you just wake up on your left foot, and the day is just bad. And
Okay.
like if the enemies you play against like have a good day, and they are like equal level to you, you just cannot do anything. You just have to accept it. I don't think it killed our confidence, like at least for me, 100%, because we just our coach just insta screamed at us, and as he should, because we displayed like terrible performance on that game that we played them. It was like not us, but it's the same as like in the third stage we lost our first game in Swiss stage against Metisport. We got fucked 34 on Sunset, the map that we just 13-0 to Koi Phoenix. It's just because we just woke up and we just decided to play like idiots, We
Hmm.
just like didn't try, or like we were just full lost, and that's what happened against BBL Pacific. Then against Mandatory we sort of woke up. So I think if we also lost the same way to Mandatory, it would break our confidence. But the fact that we won the second game against Mandatory meant that we just say fuck it, unlucky BBL Pacific bad day, and we move on.
Well, to close out, I am going to combine this, sort of as I told you, into another video. So I'm going to put you full screen. I'm just going to ask you 10 questions. You can answer these as long or quick as you like. It's completely up to
Okay.
you. But I'm going to start with a very easy one. What is your name and what team do you play for?
My name is Alexander Zygmunt. Zeek is my nickname, and I play for Enterprise Esports.
What makes your team different or unique from the other seven?
We are all uncles, and every one of us has a lot of experience, and I think we are the oldest team in the tournament.
Okay. What has been the toughest part of your journey so far?
Finding chemistry in the team, definitely.
Who is the player on your team that others need to watch out for?
Oh, definitely Yash. He is our star player, and I think on his best day, he's the scariest enemy in our team.
Which team other than yours will make it to VCT EMEA?
Oh, yes. I mean, results wise, I'd say just BBL Pacific. It's a pussy choice what I'm saying, but I think it's like I will just say BBL Pacific. I don't want to think too much.
Yeah. Which player outside of your team would you consider a threat?
Oh, definitely Larok, Loita. These two guys are like demons, big demons. From other
It could just be those two if that works. Yeah, it's up to you.
yeah, yeah. I want to be more. I don't want everything to be around BBL Pacific, but I actually don't even remember the teams that we play in Ascension at this point. Like
I can tell you if you want. You got
I
Twisted
swear to
Minds,
God.
Ulf, Mandatory, Team Rad, Dynasty, and Focus.
Yeah, I mean there's no one except these two. Like yeah, you can add that into the video, like edit that, but like there's no one except these two, I guess.
I don't think this is gonna help with the not just talking about them. Who are you most excited to play against?
I'm most excited to play against probably some MENA teams because we never played them. You know, in challengers, we never. It's the only region we didn't play yet, and
Okay.
on scrims, the scrims are fun.
Is there any team you are surprised didn't make it to Ascension, or anyone you're surprised that did?
Oh, I'm very much so surprised that two MENA teams got into Ascension, but after knowing the points, I think it was obvious, and I think the crazy surprise that someone didn't make it is Job Life
Hmm.
and Mouse. I mean, like these guys had like the easiest job ever in their groups, you know, that they got in challengers, and the fact that they choked it is insane. Like for the caliber of players that they have, and also they had a couple of months to prepare for this. So I'd say that was a big choke, and I'm surprised that they didn't make it.
What is the key factor for your team to win Ascension?
Oh, fun, definitely fun. Um, Fun, groove, and momentum. That's like the three key things I think for us, definitely.
And final question: do you have a message for the other teams heading to Berlin?
Nah, I don't want to be cringe. There's no message for these guys. Watch out for real Badman Doma, Fnatic Doma. He just came from Champions to beat your ass.
That's perfect. Well, Zeke, I'll be honest with you, it's been an absolute pleasure being
Yeah,
able to chat with you. We have got 7 more, hopefully 7 more of these to come. We'll see if everybody's willing to do it. But no, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking
yeah,
the
no
time.
problem. I enjoyed some interviews after a long time. Thank you for not forgetting me.
Well, either way,
And
I'll see you in Berlin. And for everybody
yeah,
at home, I will see you in the next video. See you then.
bye bye.